Now, if you've been following this channel, you've been following my content over the past year or so, you already know that I pretty much had two main events penciled in for WrestleMania. The two women's main events for the Women's World Championship and for the WWE Women's title. Now, for the Women's World Championship, I think it's a done deal. We saw their first interaction on Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley wishing the man Becky Lynch luck for the Women's Royal Rumble match, hoping that she wins it because at some point, very, very, very nearly in the future, Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch are going to clash, and it's going to be one for the ages. And let me tell you something, if they do, when they do actually, because I firmly believe it's already set in stone, when they do, there will be an argument to be made to have these two women main event night one of WrestleMania. No doubt about that. But the second main event I had penciled in for WrestleMania was, of course, Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 40. Now, you might be saying, how is that even possible? Io Sky is still the women's champion, and she's not involved in the match. Well, I believed Io Sky was going to lose the title eventually. She was going to get the Kurt Angle treatment of 2000 and lose the title eventually. And we were going to set up either Belair or Flair as the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match. And the other one, whoever wasn't the winner of the Rumble match, was going to become women's champion at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Perth, Australia in February. That was my belief. But again, sometimes you plan and sometimes plans fall apart. Charlotte Flair had an unfortunate knee injury a few weeks ago. She had surgery for that knee injury. It's speculated that she's going to be out for 9 months. Although if you see her on social media, she's back on a treadmill. Her recovery is going fantastic. 2 weeks in after her surgery, and she's already on a treadmill. So again, a lot of people are talking about how she's going to make a John Cena comeback, much like in 2008. Hopefully she does, but I don't think she's going to make it to WrestleMania. Definitely not to be one of the high-profile main event matches. I think maybe she'll be back in time for after WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania. Maybe in June, she might be back, setting up her big moment, her big match against Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. That might be a possibility. But Charlotte Flair, in my opinion, is completely out of the picture for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view and for the WrestleMania main event itself. So I'm just going to put that out there. So with that said, this opens up tremendous possibilities to have the current women's champion Io Sky retain that championship and retain that title and retain, all in hopes of setting up a match that I've honestly wanted for quite a while now, and now it can actually be for the women's championship. You could actually give someone like Bayley, someone who's busted her ass to be entertaining as hell over the past 3-4 years in her heel character. Well, now fans might want to cheer for her. Now fans might want to feel some kind of sympathy for her because, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the past few weeks, she's kind of been looking from the outside in when it comes to Damage Control, the very stable that she brought into WWE at SummerSlam 2 years ago. She's no longer the leader. She's no longer being, told about plans when it comes to the stable. And Bayley, all Bayley's trying to do, at least on screen, is trying to keep the peace. She's trying not to create any tension with a Kairi Sane, with an Asuka. There's history there, of course. So Bayley's just trying to keep peace. But eventually, very, very soon, Damage Control must turn on Bayley, and Bayley is going to return back to a sympathetic babyface that people want to cheer, and we get that women's championship match at WrestleMania. Io Sky gets rewarded for her hard work by being in a high-profile match, a very high-profile match, involving the women's title against Bayley, involving the rest of Damage Control. Again, it's a story that was already in the plans, in my opinion. This was going to happen eventually. But now it gets to be for the Women's Championship. And I firmly believe WWE should go that route at this point. Because we've already had Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Multiple times in the past. Bianca Belair has failed. I don't think fans want to watch Bianca Belair versus Bayley. And it's going to be a tumultuous road to get to Bayley being women's champion and having Bianca Belair challenge her for the title at WrestleMania. I think the window of time is too short to get that to happen. So, in my opinion, Io Sky, Bayley, Women's Championship, WrestleMania, Damage Control involved. That's a pretty damn good story. High profile story for the women's title at WrestleMania. And then eventually you give Bianca Belair something else, someone else to play with at the show of shows. Because again, her match, her big moment at WrestleMania was going to have to be facing off against Charlotte Flair, and that's just not possible due to unfortunate circumstances, and it is the pro wrestling industry. It does happen, so we'll just have to wait and see. So with that said, what are your thoughts? What do you think is actually going to be the Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 40? Do you think Io Sky is going to make it? Do you think Bayley should be challenging for the title? Or do you think Bianca Belair should or do you think WWE should just follow through with Bianca Belair as champion and find someone else to challenge her at the show of shows? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comments section below. With that said, again, tune in later on tonight to Fox for another episode of Smackdown. Tune in later on tonight to TNT for Rampage, and tomorrow night for Collision. We're about a week away from Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the start of WrestleMania, one of the most exciting pay-per-views of the year. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.